The sun was already high when the small band of Australopithecus moved through the tall savanna grass, arms full of roots and cracked gourds, bare feet stepping carefully between thorns and ant mounds. Hunger had chased them from the rocky shelter before dawn, and now it pressed them forward, tightening their chests and hollowing their bellies. A mother bent low, digging with a sharpened stone while her child clung to her side, fingers knotted into her coarse hair. Nearby, two males struck stones together, shaping rough edges, their eyes lifting again and again to scan the grass. Nothing here was safe. Every sound carried danger. A sudden rustle broke the rhythm. The foragers froze. A line of guinea fowl burst upward, screaming into the sky. The group tightened instinctively, bodies closing around the children. From the grass came the low, vibrating growl of a saber-toothed cat, unseen but close enough that its breath seemed to ripple the stems. Panic rippled through the band, but it did not scatter. One male lifted a burning branch snatched from an earlier grass fire, waving it slowly, deliberately. Another slammed stones together, sharp cracks echoing across the plain. The predator shifted, circling, testing. Then, as wind shifted and ash stung its nose, it slipped away, leaving only crushed grass and pounding hearts behind. The escape brought no relief. Fear sharpened hunger. The group moved faster now, toward the distant shimmer of a river, the only promise of water and life. Clouds gathered unexpectedly, dark and swollen, and by the time they reached the riverbank, the sky split open. Rain hammered the earth, turning dust to mud in moments. The river swelled before their eyes, churning brown and violent. A child slipped, nearly swept away, saved only by a desperate grip and the weight of bodies piling together. The storm hid the smells of predators, but brought new dangers of its own. As the rain eased, they saw them. Another band on the far bank, larger, leaner, rival Australopithecus, watching with tense stillness. The river had forced both groups to the same place. Hunger burned in both. Slowly, stones were lifted, not thrown, just shown. The rivals moved closer, step by step, claiming the best crossing, the richest routes. The smaller band hesitated, knowing weakness invited attack. One elder stepped forward, chest heaving, lifting a water-filled leaf bundle high. Then he smashed it against a rock, splashing precious water into the mud, a warning of desperation. The rivals paused, uncertain. A sudden roar echoed across the plain, lions drawn by the storm and the scent of life. The rivals fled first, melting back into the grass, leaving the crossing behind. The band crossed quickly, water tearing at their legs. On the far side, the savanna opened into a patch of trees heavy with fruit. Hope flickered. They climbed and gathered with frantic energy, stuffing mouths and leaf bundles. Laughter burst from one juvenile as sticky pulp smeared his face. It was the first sound not shaped by fear that day. The laughter ended abruptly. The ground trembled. From the trees emerged a giant hyena, jaws slick with old blood, eyes fixed on the smallest among them. Chaos exploded. Fruit dropped. Bodies scattered. One child tripped, screaming silently, arms flailing. The mother lunged, dragging the child away as the hyena snapped inches from bare flesh. Stones flew, wild and desperate. One struck the animal's skull. It recoiled, snarling, then charged again. The group did not run. They formed a rough wall, adults in front, children pressed behind. Burning branches were thrust forward, smoke curling into the beast's face. The hyena lunged once more, teeth clashing against fire and stone. A final heavy blow cracked its jaw. The animal stumbled, retreating, wounded pride and pain driving it back into the trees. Silence followed, broken only by breathing and the soft whimper of the child, alive. Blood dripped from a gash on an elder's leg. Leaves were crushed, pressed against the wound, bitter sap slowing the bleeding. Hands touched shoulders, heads leaned together. Survival had been earned again. As evening fell, the band gathered in a shallow cave nearby. Rainwater collected in stone hollows. Fruit and roots were shared, torn and passed from hand to hand. Fire flickered, its warmth painting moving shadows across the stone. The child who had fallen slept curled against the mother's chest. The elder with the wounded leg smiled faintly, eyes reflecting flame. Beyond the cave, predators called into the dark, but inside there was fullness of bellies, of breath, of belonging. Against hunger and claws, against storm and rivals they had endured. Tomorrow would bring new dangers, but tonight, 4. 9 million years ago, survival had won, and in that victory, the roots of humanity held firm.